Kathy Deeply Awake, this is a channel. It is no chat, dear ones. So we came to you and explained a little bit about the eclipse, and this is something that the one before you goes to at times to make things real. And yet the truth of it rides along now, and so we wish to give you some gifts today. We have kept them under wraps, and we have not been we've been sly and crafty to get in front of the machine, because there is a natural, at this point, disinclination to let go, simply because there is a desire to merge more than to deliver these energies. And we commend the one before you for doing so and for having this as the goal, because of course the whole idea is to walk around fully in full knowledge, in full awareness. This is the idea. It is not to walk around and be in full channel. It's to walk around in full awareness. What does this mean? Full awareness. Well, it depends on how far you can go, does it not? Full awareness. When you are at the sewing machine and you are basting something and you are having fun, are you thinking about anything else? It becomes quite hypnotic, is what we are trying to get across. The senses become rhythmically involved in something, and the consciousness can detach a bit. And many who experience this are, of course, you can call that channeling, but you can call it dissociation. You can call it meditation. You can call it being in the zone. You can call it letting yourself go. Now, you can imagine there are many ways to get there. Those who love the sexual expression, well, they find this in the orgasm and will consider that the prime directive. Those who love to sculpt or paint, well, they pick up the media and do their thing. Those who write the channel, la la la. You get the idea. But just because you are not wearing a beret and carrying around a beautiful palette of oils does not mean you're not a channeler of beautiful energies. You don't need to pull rabbits out of hats or accents out of throat. You just need to be in the zone. And we would say that this place is a place of, obviously of non-judgment. You're too busy to hate. Too happy to disparage. Certainly you may look up from whatever task it is that gets your attention so much, and then, oh my, oh yes, oh those bastards, and it is broken. Yes, okay. And so of course, the plasticity of awareness is something that is being played with a bit by humanity at this point. And so there's some talk even now of the idea that part of the way to solve this problem, because it must be considered a problem, of course, is to use a drug, to use an antipsychotic, just in case. Yes, we are hearing that antipsychotics are not being used prophylactically. This is, of course, the opposite of how the drug is intended to be used. And these are highly malignant neurotoxins. They are very helpful when there is grave imbalance, but these are, of course, treated much more effectively in other ways. And this will become apparent as time goes on. So it's great. And so what we are saying here is that there is a shift in awareness in each, and there is more ability to travel a little bit farther down the road of compassion and forgiveness and and at the other end of the spectrum involves looking at self, and basically it's this feeling of oh my, oh no, and this feeling of complete and utter we would say the bottom falling out. It can be called dark night of soul. It is, the idea here is that you are doing something that you are bringing in within you things that you have said no to. This is the idea. And with this, of course, comes release. We have demonstrated it, and then we've had it explained, yes. However, it is something that is being demonstrated, and it is being explained so that others can understand what's going on with them. So yes, this is a good thing. And so we have had to adjust, though, the modulation so much that when in person we have to explain some things, and it's not going to be very pleasant. So we just want to, because we're going to do this. We're going to do this to the jar and take off the lid. Okay. It's our turn to talk about this stuff. Okay, so this is how it goes. There will be some who will understand that they have always carried a signature that that is sort of seems to stink up the joint. Okay, it's hard to get along with this person, and they're nice. They're really nice, but they are trouble. And you know, we are talking about this one, but there are many in the same boat, and it has nothing to do with what you do. This is the point. This is what we want to talk about, because it's going to be more, it's be affecting you more. We just opened the door a little bit, little teeny tiny bit in writing. This is the big deal. This is the writing and the teaching. Ready? Oh, the Rosie. Yes, the Rosie is out. The Rosie has come back in full form with the one before you understanding. The message behind these kitty cats for this time. It's a very beautiful message. We wish to share it with you first. Many years ago, it was written in one of these notebooks. The realization of the one before you, the realization that her kitties would cry for her affection, and she found it fine to ignore them, and she wondered what that was about, and she didn't like it very much, but she did it. This is what she did. Today, the sunshine who has been buzzing, well, you know, she is a living demonstration of one message being happily repeated over time until it's received. So many animals would come into this one's life, and they would be devoted, crazily devoted to her and her alone. This was the idea, and she was given many different messages about this through the years from teachers. And this devotion, you know, and it would bring her to tears at times, understanding what it meant, where it came from, and how ancient it was, and how beautiful it was. However, she would not tend to them and give them affection and take care of their basic physical needs, partly because she was having trouble taking care of her own, and partly because she was on this neglect kick. This I don't want to be here kick. And so finally it's come to her awareness the last few weeks that she has been blessed to the max by this little kitty who just kind of beats her heart in tune with the one before you, and just wants to give love. And before, well, this felt like a responsibility that she had not asked for, something she did not know how to respond to without making a mistake. Yes, even the kitty cat. Isn't that sad? And now, you know, there's free-flowing love. So, yes, the kitty is doing this demonstration and giving her the message of, oh yes, this is actually the same kitty. They've been coming around a long time giving me this message, and I never got it. Well, we were walking with her when this message came through. And the idea here is that it was the punchline, because by this time the sunshine was on her chest, and they were having a little loving, And we say, well, the bottom line is there's more love around here, and you're just going to have to get used to it. You understand? In the face of more love, is it appropriate to keep arguing? In the face of more love, is it appropriate to keep finding fault? In the face of more love, is it appropriate to keep bringing up the pains and the harms of the past? It's something to get used to. Yes, it's something to get used to. More love about. Yes, and we've been saying this for a long time and giving little hints of how to hook into it, but and to make it real. Well, okay, there you go. What happens if it's more real than the problems which have taken you away from this love to begin with, huh? What if the gifts of the worry and the anxiety begin to be not quite as pleasant as the gifts that are given from feeding a cord? 11:11 in a funny hour. So this is what we have to say, and this one. This is important to explain that there is at this point no memory, and there was about 5 minutes, we'd say, of slipping away, trying to glom on and then slipping away, and now it's gone. You see, and so what does this mean? It's important to discuss. Okay, who are we? Where are we from? Well, at this level, it is more of a transmission from a group. And these energies, are they Antarian? Are they Pleiadian? Are they Arcturian? Are they Venusian? We've talked about the 12, the evolution of the planets. We have given her the visions. And so we would say at this point it's good to look at the tapes. But what we are saying is that it is hard to feel alone, it is hard to believe the nonsense, and it is hard to feel like a downtrodden US citizen when you understand that you are a star person. You stand with the First Nations of the earth, and that you are a star person. Your responsibilities change. Your viewpoint changes. The love becomes immense. And a balanced responsibility that is woven with free will, understanding free will. This free will. Well, it makes it quite a ride here, doesn't it? Because we can talk about probabilities, we can talk about the fields, we can talk about roles, we can talk about simultaneous realities, we can talk about timelines, we can do many, many, many things here. And we can further complicate and puzzle and trigger. But we wish to be clear. What is happening now, and there is a physical reset from soon, is the beginning. The beginning of the gifts. And you may look at the gifts and say, oh, well, they're out dripping in blood. We don't want these gifts. No, well, you keep throwing blood at them. There's a barbaric part of humanity that is so scared that it thinks it must kill other people to keep their property safe. Okay? It's a little primitive still. and common sense will be becoming online. It's funny how that happens when your perspective changes. And what we wish to say is what we explained in the car and what we have explained before, but not quite so clear as now. Yes, everyone is a star person, of course, obviously everyone is a solar angel. What does this mean? It means you are equipped with the DNA, which is able to light up like a supernova, connecting with energies and realities you know not of, while you are frying your bacon. Okay. And the question is there something that you would like to be aware of consciously at this time? If you wish not to be conscious of it, that's fine. Then there are certain dramas that must play out for you to gain more conscious awareness of the game afoot. That's fine. And these games, well, you know, the lights are up, and so what happens when the lights are up? Well, the shadows, they are much more stark. The contrast is astounding, and it's beginning to tip. Can you tell? It's fun to watch it wobble. So we go wobble, we let people just have their way, because it's a free will area. This means you are all sovereign. Further, does it not imply, if you're sovereign, that a part of you knows what's going on? Can you not understand that? Can you not see that? There's a part of you that understands what's going on right now. And who agreed? Who signed up for your particular task? And this is a beautiful thing. This means that there is happening an achievement of purpose, which it doesn't matter. The achievement is not whether you gain consciousness. No, the achievement is whether you gain authenticity in your expression. Okay? So perhaps you've decided to do this ascension thing, okay? And people think that you talk in tongues and all this stuff. Well, that's fine. Just one way. One way. Just one. But the idea here is that we needed a spokesperson who could explain what the daily life ramifications of this are. And then to see a whole bunch of arguing of, but I want to stay the same and want to stay the same. And, and yet having her hair pulled by the 12th and beyond. And it's well beyond. So this is, and we've said this before, again and again, this is an extreme version, and it's to be used as a primer, basically. It's practice. We said that at the very beginning, and we explained it to her in writing a little bit ago. This has been but practice. So that's nice. Okay, well, good job. Each individual is explaining this to themselves in other ways, you know. And the most important thing is to come to terms with one's own expression authentically. And we would say there's a bit more to this than just authenticity, but you will be experiencing this in your own ways soon. So it's a good thing, it's a genuine thing, it's a beautiful thing, and it's a creative thing. So we wish to close by doing the things that we said we were going to do. So here's the thing: you hold this kind of light, and you walk into a place that where people are perhaps not feeling this because they have not done the work. Okay, if you're not a technician, okay, so you're around people who are not technicians. Or perhaps you are not a technician, but you've had a whole bunch of dreams and you don't understand any of it, but there you are, and you are holding star energy in a conscious way. You have to understand, it's not that the human beings are like, here's the deal. The realized human being is what you are. That is your nature. It's your nature. This dip into separation and duality, well, you know, that's your nature too. But this part of the experiment is over. The experiment with separation, dear. And the belief you have no free will. What is that? That is separation, dear. Woe is me. They do what they wish to me, and they don't care how I feel. Who has not felt this way? Paying a bill, going to work. So, is the problem pandemic? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, it's okay. It's just the end of an age, you know. We call it the Kali Yuga. And it does drip in blood. It is supposed to. And we have said it is barbarism. It's primarily male-driven, and the male is not the one who is creating the imbalance. The male is creating the balance, because the whole thing was imbalanced. It was the end of it. It was the end of the wobble. And so you kind of flop onto new ground, panting and saying, what the heck was that? So we take a moment to explain. When you hold this kind of energy, it acts as a spotlight on others, okay? And what happens when they feel it is this: they're not as aware of where the light is coming from, but that there is great light, and they don't feel comfortable because they are seeing the darkness. You see, they are having contrast, and it is an internal thing, and it is simply by walking around because you carry great light, okay? And so when you see people who are behaving in a very funny way, and you know they love you but they're acting bad, this is what's going on, you guys. That you receive, the difficulties you have, okay? So it's an energetic thing. It creates dissonance. Fine. Do you know what that means? It means the inductance took. It means the person is now struggling with something they didn't have to struggle before. And on a soul or energetic level, they said, hey, would you come over here? I'm looking for a struggle. I think this is the energetic struggle I'm ready for now. Would you please interact with me? And it begins. And there is distraction. It depends on how severely, how completely the individual, the human being has melded with the personality structure and with the patterns and with the habits, you know, that's a big deal. So, but here's the deal. It's not about bursting into something that is completely unrecognizable. Not at all. It's about getting used to having more love around, within and without, within and without, within and without. How much time are you going to waste in cyclical arguments that never end, which put you front and center as the reason for the other person's hatred, fear, and disgust? How long? Well, we say that, those who are choosing this lower agreement field with victimization and victims and blah 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 blah. That's going to become so uncomfortable. But we have this break coming up, and everything kind of switches. Once you have more light, then all of that stuff falls away. It just falls away. And those who need to engage in it further go through a bit of a quarantine. The dissonance is no longer on the ones who are holding light. The dissonance now resides with those who are dark. Can you not see this? This is the shift. Those who are in great confusion and darkness are very good at projection. And you, having been through this, are easily triggered. And we are not talking simply to the one before you, we are talking to you. This is the drag down. This is the hook. Pulling you into these discussions, pulling you into this disharmony, into this separation, into this belief that you are bad, they are bad, the world is bad. We discuss these mechanics because it is important at this time. We know full well that so much of this is going to be so automatic for those who are practicing, and who it's going to be just so easy. You already know this is easy, don't you? Can you not feel it? The ease. It has been discussed that it felt like a hook that was in the chest that was pulling her along, a golden rod, and it was magnetic and she couldn't help it, and she didn't have to put any effort in, it was just pulling her. And there was yama yama all around, but it didn't matter. This is much like this. So let the yama yama continue, and you can even go look for it if you want, but we do suggest spinning. How do you spin the energy of? Well, we suggest if you have a totem or you have a kingdom which helps you, that you can do that, and this one works with the trees, and the trees help her. And so they come and they counsel her. But there's many other ways that you can get relief, and you can indeed just sit in meditation, see your body, and then there are tendrils, see the tendrils of electricity as you spin, because the Merkaba is always spinning. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. This spin, just being aware of it, dropping in and looking at that pretty tetrahedron. Pretty Merkaba. Spin, spin, spin. Truly, this is all you need to do. Don't you feel better? We do, we can tell you, we do. We do very, very, very good. It feels very good. Spinning always helps a great deal. Yes. We would suggest there is this, okay, we're gonna say it, 28. There's a little Pleiadian trick that we encountered in one book, and it was actually an old tradition. If you encounter instructions to spin, to spin, in order to speed up your reality or to alter it, we would say at this point on this planet, it's not entirely wise to do that. The instructions were clear, and those who know the instructions know intuitively to not do it at this time. And so we would suggest that it's something that the energy is that intense, and this one practiced that technique in the 90s, and within about I would say about 2 weeks her reality changed, as if there had been there was a shift, a jump actually. And so this is another way to go farther, but what we would suggest is, well, we would like you to look at the eclipse tape we did. How far do you want to go? This is the question you're being asked at night, idly in traffic. And it's an exciting question, is it not? So to close, what is true is this light, this beautiful light, it's been coming to the planet, it's been here forever, okay? It's a gift. It's on time and appropriate. It's been sitting there waiting. Had humanity not woken up, had humanity decided to stand down, then they would be going through this ribbon and they would be completely unaware of it. It would not even, it'd be a blip on the radar. And it would be great opportunity lost, of course. And of course, some predictions, of course, explained that, well, if the humanity is going to have a color start, then they are going to not have physical bodies because they have to have this to go forward. And so there were prophecies of the human beings not being alive when the sun came to this particular area. But that did not happen, you know. It didn't happen. Many people still are trying to shake off this feeling of dread and death. And of course it isn't helpful to have leaders doing their thing. But, you know, the idea of a cataclysm, if you're seeing visions of such things, understand that part of this is you're being triggered, dear. When you came into Lemuria, you came in understanding it was going to go down. It had to. The genetics, the human beings, they had to be distributed. That was the idea. But when the water gobbled up the mountain, it was felt by a nation. It still hurts. And so that is what we say with this shadow and light time. The shadow is an afterthought at this point. Let it roll. Let it roll. The light is here. The sun is new. There's much being given and offered, and it is the holiest of holiest of holiest of holiest. And you have evidence in your daily lives of it if you're paying attention. We ask you not to be critical of your consciousness at this point. Allow yourself to be where you are with authenticity. Is the metric, rather than everyone having the same expression. Alignment. If this is the signature, it will be felt when walking into a room. And we can assure you, once the eclipse is done, you will know how to respond from that time forward. We wish to tell you, you know, there are many, including the one before you, who do not like these kind of predictions. We have never done this. It is a risk, is it not? What if nothing happens? Well, haven't we said that is completely up to you, it's not up to us. We are describing the events from up above. How you experience them, well, that's your business. That's the gift you give yourself. And those who you share your reality with. But let us not forget you are one family. I've been busy with many things, and fully knowing that the Kali Yuga is over, has been. Isn't it very nice? Creator will go and close the eyes. And speak with the heart. And with things that are not related to the physical senses. And when Creator opens the eye again, well, it's a new kind of day. We want to talk about the resets really quick. The resets, well, there will be some, we can expect more physical issues now that the eclipse is coming because these physical resets, well, they are reality resets, dear. They're reality resets. We believe that this has been made abundantly clear with this person's path, yes. So these reality resets, do they happen all at once? No, they happen in sequence, and they happen deliberately, and they happen in a card. And it becomes quite plain to the one going through it that there's something bigger going on. And so resets, well, they can include death, illness, all the things, all the big things. But this is not what this energy is about, and this is how we close. There's more love in the room now, okay? There's more love, and you need to get used to that. That's the message of this eclipse. So must you prepare? Batten down the hatches, have more water and rice available just in case the grid goes down. Well, we would say that these things, you're gonna know that when things start popping, you'll know. But for now, let's just let the floods come. Let's just let Mother's love come. Let's just let the reunion occur. And then let's go forward. Is that all right to say? Is it okay not to worry about it too much? To give you a little bit of information. We've always said this. We didn't want to give a whole bunch of information. We want you to own this. Go out and talk to people and own it as yours, okay? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And it's coming up. So, in the future, well, lots of things, lots of changes, You'll be ready, you'll be equipped. This light has been coming on the planet, it's been coming here intentionally. It's been beaming. And as you go through it, you understand it's a gift. It's the beginning. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And so we want to increase the spin a little bit by doing this. This is another way to spin things off. To remember the truth. To go a little bit higher with the perspective. To remember the reason for the season. So this is what we give this day. And we wish to thank you for being here and listening to us ramble about these beautiful changes occurring. We hope that you love this transmission as much as we.